Hello, guys. Um, my name is Saksham Kumar, and today I'm going to be talking about the international experience at UCSC. We're just waiting for one other person whom I'm inviting right now, who's going to be talking with me. So, we'll just get started off in a second. Okay. Um, I hope you guys are doing good. Yeah, UCSC is a dream school. We're gonna cover all kinds of topics today. So sit tight, and I'm gonna flex on my UCSC merch right here.
Hello,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good too. First things first. What time is it there for you right now?
Oh, it's 11 a.m. What time is it there for you?
7:30 a.m.
Nice, nice.
But all right. Anyway, let's just start off with introductions. My name is Saksham Kumar. I am an international student from India. My pronouns are he, him, his. Um, I'm a third year filmmaking, film and digital media student at UCSC. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Um,
Okay,
yeah.
nice to meet you. My name is Gio Sung. I'm a third year international student, also a film major at UCSC, and my pronouns are she, her, hers. And nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Hope all of y'all are doing well. Um, I heard that there was the power outage at PG&E again this year. So we hope you guys are doing all okay with that. On top of how crazy this year has already been.
All right.
All right. So we have a few questions we have from earlier that we have the option to answer. So let's start off with that. Um, right. My college affiliation is Porter College. Sorry, I forgot about that. And so is Geo's, I presume. Right? Or is it some other college?
Oh, I'm from. Wait, excuse me. Could you
What,
repeat that?
which college are you affiliated with?
Oh, I'm from Cal College.
Our college. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, Porter's better though. I mean.
I really like Cal.
All right. So let's start off by talking about why we came to UCSC and what made our decision stick.
Mhm.
So if that's all good.
Um, I'll share my story first. Well, I was an international student already before coming to college. I grew up in Indonesia. I'm from South Korea, but I moved to Indonesia when I was in elementary school. And so I attended kind of American based. Our school had both AP and IB. I ended up doing IB, but I really wanted to pursue film for my college degree. So I was in search for like a good school for film, like for me to study film. And I came across like a bunch of other schools in the States and I applied to some. But I ended up really liking UCSC. Fun fact is that I've actually never been to the States before. I came here for college, and some of my friends thought it was really crazy for me to just like pick a pick a country that I've never been to and attend a college there. But I'm kind of like really like open in that sense, and I wanted to travel and like widen my perspective. So I thought America would be like a good choice for me to experience different things and have my college career there. So I decided to come to UCSC after seeing how beautiful it was. I only did virtual tour, but that already like I was like I liked it already just by doing the virtual tour. And I had a really good high school counselor, and she and I were really close, so she thought I would be a good fit at UCSC. And yeah, I think I am. I really enjoy the time spending at UCSC, and I really love the campus and the nature, everything. So I'm really glad. How
Right,
about you?
right. We had a comment about talk about the trees, and I was like, yeah, that's the one thing we have in abundance.
Right.
Um, yeah. All right. There's a question here. Does UCSC want your IB predicted score?
Oh, does UCSC want your? I actually got in with my predicted score only. I didn't even have to send in my the score actual scores. So I applied with my predicted scores, and I got the answer back before I took my IB exams.
Right.
So so yes, predicted score, no real score. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Pretty similar experience for me. I have been to the US a few times before, never to UCSC though. But it's a funny story. I actually, up until my high school, I was in a science concentration, and I wanted to study astrophysics. And well, astrophysics at UCSC has been ranked globally in the top five consistently for the past decade, if I'm not wrong. So I knew that when I got in here, that was my dream college, to study astrophysics, and I actually did study astrophysics for a year. But even having said that, I've always been interested in filmmaking, and I wanted to pursue filmmaking as well. Um, and that the UCSC having a good enough major and a national ranking in that as well was just an added bonus, and like the certificate of confirmation I needed that UCSC is the college for me. So, well, it was kind of like the best of both worlds for me until I dropped astrophysics and just turned to filmmaking full time. But yeah, it's been an incredible experience so far. Yeah, let's move on. Um,
We
there was
got
a
another comment saying, did you get any real credits for your scores later on? For me, no, unfortunately. But I guess if you have a good enough grade for your real exam, you could push towards. I think it's really different for different majors, but for my film major, I tried to get some credits for. I took higher level film for my IB course, and I tried to get the credit for that, but I've already taken the class before I could even like transfer the credits. So I didn't really find it that necessary to transfer my credits that I got in high school, but you could definitely try. And I believe it's different for every major. So
right.
yeah.
If I can just add on to that, I do have a few friends who have been granted credit for their courses from the IB level education. So I'm pretty sure, as Gio said, it depends on your major, but I'm pretty sure you do get a few credits if you're doing well at IB. Um, right. Gio, would you like to talk about what concentration you're pursuing in your film major and why?
Um, I'm pursuing production concentration because I just find that hands-on learning for me just like works better. And that's also the field that I want to go into after I graduate. I'll be graduating in 2021, and I just want to be on the field, just doing the thing, and I want to build my experience, build my resume. So yeah. But I really also really enjoy like film studies, analyzing film, writing essays about it. I really enjoy that too.
Right. Yeah. And pretty exactly same. I want to end up into producing films as well. But as you said, the reason why film is kind of a very important major at UCSC is because the diverse range of experience and diverse range of education it offers, whether it's in production or whether it's in critical concentrations, or there's a whole new part of it, which is in digital media, which not a lot of universities or programs offer. And I believe that is one of the most distinctive factors of the UCSC film major at 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 California. Um, so yeah, um, right. So we had a question earlier. Um, have you guys done any work in the industry, and can you guys explain the dorm situation there? So yeah, so just let's just go by the first one and then on to the second. Have you worked in the industry, in the film industry at all, Joe?
Um, I haven't yet, but I mean, like, I guess the closest thing to working in the industry that I've had was probably that one time I had this internship with a small production company in LA. And I wasn't on the field, but I was the editor of this small documentary project that we're working on. So I met up with the I guess like the I don't think he was a director, but he was like a producer or something. He was also like one of my good friends. We worked together, but I've never actually been on the set yet. But I've created some student run film projects, so I kind of have a sense of like what it would be like, but I'm not too sure. I haven't had that experience yet. How
Right.
about you?
Um, Me also technically not. I've worked with Santa Cruz Film Festival, which is not really working in the industry, but it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of there. I was a volunteer and I helped watch films and rate them based, and I was basically a part of the jury where you can watch films and then you rate which ones should be shown at the film screening. Which is very interesting. Got to watch so many films. It was like the dream job. Um, and after that, I got a job very recently, right now. In fact, during the pandemic, um, as as being part of a journalism company in LA, but because of the pandemic, it all fell down. Um, but yeah, I was pretty excited about that. So I guess what we're trying to say is there are a lot of opportunities that you can exploit at UCSC, whether it's an
Yeah.
internship, jobs, or mentorships. No matter what happens, no matter what, I think it doesn't even apply to our specific major. There is a lot of availability overall in whatever major you're trying to accomplish. Um, right. So moving on. Um,
I just want to add one more thing. I recommend really getting in touch with your professors and major advisors. That way, you can get a lot of internship or any job experience or opportunity. I got most of my internship opportunity through my professors. And so I just want to say that there's a really good point in being friends with your professors.
yeah, yeah. Your professors, your major advisors, everyone is just here to ensure our success, and they're doing it relentlessly. So yeah, just make sure you make use of all of those opportunities that are available. Um, there was a question earlier that we received, which is what clubs would you recommend on campus, and which ones are your favorite? So if you want to go first with that.
I was in a hip hop dance team on campus called Halawan. They're actually having workshops starting today. I'm not sure, but you can go to their Instagram page. It's called Halawan Hip Hop, and it's spelled like HAULUN, Halawan Hip Hop. And we're associated with the Bayanihan organization on campus. It's like a Philippine X organization. They're really, really supportive. They can help you with a lot of things. I chose to do dance because I was a dancer growing up, and I wanted to kind of continue um, that journey. And I honestly I made my most of my best friends through that dance team, joining that dance team. I had such a blast. Honestly, my first year, we went to a lot of competitions. I know now it's a little different because of the pandemic. They're having tryouts on I believe it's on the 17th, but just make sure to double check on their Instagram. But yeah, I really recommend Halawan or any kind of clubs. Like, just get involved, on campus is really great.
And I completely agree. Um, the clubs at UCSC are so abundant. It's just every. I mean, we have a fest every year at the beginning of the year. It used to be called Opus Fest. I think it's now called Cornucopia, and the whole field is just stalls, and it's just filled. The entire field is filled, and it's just like a whole festival within itself. So yeah, there's something here for everyone, and no one. I mean, everything you want, everything you might have imagined as a club, is already there. So you just got to go and take your chance over there. But if I talk about the clubs that I would recommend, um, there are a lot of international communities. I personally am part of the International Indian Student Association. Um, Likewise, there are a lot of similar associations for other nationalities, other countries, other communities, and it's a very it's very inclusive. It's not only for Indian students or for the for the students of that nation. Obviously, it's very inclusive, but it's just a very important and a very helpful resource to have at times when things are a little, a little upset, you're missing home or whatever, and it's just a good resource. It's just a good club to be a part of at times. They take care of your national festivals, of your ethnic festivals, and yeah, it's just a very inclusive, diversified experience.
For
Um,
sure.
yeah, yeah, and
I
other. Sorry, go
Especially
on.
for students, when you feel like of course, there are times like for everyone in college to feel lonely or kind of like, by yourself, but to find that sense of belonging and like to really recognize that people appreciate you, it's really good to be in a community, like a club or any kind of like association. It really helps.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And I completely agree with that. At the risk of sounding shameless, I would like to tell you guys about my club, which is a filmmaking club, which I'm a co-founder of, and it's I mean, I've obviously been very passionate about film since a very long time, and we offer all kinds of services in the filmmaking business, in the filmmaking industry, like whether you're thinking about ideation for a script, or you want to actually write a script, or you're producing stuff. We provide you with equipment, with guidance, or whether it's post production, whether it's editing, any other sound editing, sound mixing, whatever you guys think are the necessary parts that you want in your film. Um, we guys will help you make that. In fact, Geo has worked with us in a very small capacity and used a few of our members for her film. So yeah, that is a very good club. Sorry to, I don't know. Yeah, I told you it sounded a bit
No,
shame.
I completely agree. You guys have been really helpful. I introduced this project that my friends actually overseas have been working on, and I was their second unit producer, and I helped them connect with the film club, the Euro Film Club, on UCSC, and they've been great. Like, they've been really helpful, really active. I believe they're still working on it, even through the pandemic. Hopefully it goes well, but yeah,
Right,
maybe,
right.
the Indie Film Society.
Indie films, Independent Filmmakers Society. If you guys want to follow us on Instagram, go for it. Right. So for anyone who is joining us right now, I we are here talking about the international experience in the UC community. Um, my name is Saksham Kumar, and I am an international student from India. My film, yeah, I'm a film major, and I'm affiliated with Porter College. And if you could reintroduce yourself.
Yeah, hello again. My name is Gio Sung. I'm a third year film student at Ucsc, Cowell affiliated. And what else am I supposed to say?
Uh,
Is that Oh, I'm from South Korea. I'm in South Korea right now.
right. Okay. Yeah, of course. Yeah, we're both in very different worlds right now, and we'll talk about remote learning in a while. But we have a question here. The film club is called Independent Filmmakers Society, but on Instagram it's Indie Film Soc, INDIEFILMSOC. And an earlier question was, I actually didn't know the answer to this. What is the student-teacher ratio like? But I looked it up, and it's 24.5 to 1 is the student-to-faculty ratio at UCSC. Which is pretty decent. And another question is, what is the cost of living in the Santa Cruz area?
Or is it um I guess like for me in comparison, I don't really have anywhere else to compare because Santa Cruz was the first city I moved in since I started living in the States. But I would say it's definitely not cheap. I can't say that it's cheap, but if you budget well and find the resources that are available to students on campus, it's gonna be manageable. Like for example, um, for international students, there are some services that aren't offered to us because we're international. Like for example, the food stamps that are available to the local American students. We're not qualified for that, but we have this great service on campus called Slug Pantry. It's the one that I used the most was at Cal College and Opers, but this is a program where they just distribute like free food, free produce every, I'm not sure, Wednesday, every like once in a week. So you just have to sign in before you go collect your items, and you can just yeah just get like what you want, and it's really great. I used to get all my vegetables from there, and it was like good quality vegetables. And yeah, so make sure just like you budget properly, and it'll be manageable.
Right. And did you live on campus or off campus for your later part of your college?
I just moved off campus, and I feel like sometimes to live on campus, I would say it might be a little more expensive than living off campus, but there are benefits to living on campus. I only recently moved off campus because of the kind of the complication with the housing situation regarding the pandemic. But other than that, I really enjoyed my time on campus. It was really easy to get to classes. So there are pros and cons of living on campus, but I do want to say that it's a little bit more expensive to live on campus.
Right, definitely. But yeah, I mean, I'm only going to speak personally, but I think the benefits of living on campus outweighs the cost of it. Um, but yeah, that's just my opinion. Because I also lived off campus for my second year, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be living off campus even now. So yeah, there are a few things that are just readily available to you when you're on campus. All right, let's move on to remote learning. How has your experience been since this crazy year started? And how have you been managing with your classes? What are some of the challenges that you have faced?
Um, in terms of remote learning, the hardest part for me have been about scheduling because my night and day would completely change when I have classes. For example, yesterday I had class from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. and Tuesdays are my hardest days because I have classes back to back like that. And honestly, by like my last class, I'm half asleep. But just make sure that if that's the situation for you, make sure to communicate with your professors really well, because most of the times they will be very, very understanding. And if you explain the situation well enough, like, of course, they're going to be understanding. Like, I yesterday, don't do this, don't recommend this. I kind of fell asleep halfway through this class, but then I freaked out. I woke up in front of my laptop and I was like, oh crap. Like, but I knew that my professor would be very understanding. So I reached out to him and explained my situation. And I asked if I missed out on anything. He was really helpful in filling me in. And yeah, so that has been the most challenging part. But apart from that, like, I really enjoy remote learning as well.
Right.
Yeah.
I completely agree. And communication is very, very, very important. It's like you stole all of my words. Um, but that is, although, like, even without the pandemic, the professors were already very, very accommodative, very understanding. But in such a situation, they've been even more accommodative. I mean, most of my classes are not even like in person anymore. A lot of them are in asynchronous. A lot of them have uploaded lectures that they've made sure that they put up only for the sake of the international students, keeping them in mind, and they've just made the entire class asynchronous for our convenience, which has helped a lot. I mean, most of my classes only demand me to come online, in person, like a live kind of discussion, which is only for my discussion sections, which is once a week, 1 hour. Um, so it depends on the amount of classes you take, but its maximum requirement in this kind of a climate would be once an hour, once a week, to be present in front of a screen. So yeah, it's been a very accommodative, very helpful kind of environment we've been in, and it makes things a little bit easier, given how crazy it's all been. Um, but and even on top of that, a lot of the professors are also very open to office hours. They've kept a lot of office hours for every kind of student, whether they're in America, whether they're in South Korea or in India, and they have a lot of slots open, and they want us to know that they are here for us, the TAs are here for us, and no matter what, just as Gio said, just reach out, communicate, and things should be good from there. Once you start, it is a little overwhelming at first to get into the cycle of classes, but scheduling your classes based on your daytime and your nighttime is very important. And yeah, once that works out, it's a little better. Um, right. Um, okay. Let's check for any questions.
We just want to touch back on the question. I think I asked the question, is there anyone living on campus right now? And we want to say that there are about 1,000 students currently living on campus. Of course, the precautions regarding COVID are very strict. There are some measures you have to take as a student living on campus, but I think, honestly, I was on campus for spring quarter last year, and when pandemic all happened, and I really enjoyed my time there because there were not too many students on campus at the time, so I really had the chance to explore campus even better. Um, yeah, and campus, I think I really love living in campus. It's really beautiful over there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right. We hope that answers your question, MJ21. All right. So moving on to an older question we have, what is your favorite part about UCSC? What would you tell a new student to do here? What is something that has stuck with you?
Um, Definitely my club experiences. I made really great bonds and great friendship through that experience. I had the chance to go to different competitions and build connections with even like the dancers from different schools. So I really recommend joining any kind of club on campus. I think it's a great way to kickstart your college career. And especially if you're someone that has trouble just putting yourself out there to brand new people at a brand new place, I think clubs are great ways to kind of like start approaching people. You know, everyone's nice on campus anyway, but still, like, if you want that like special bond, special sense of community, I feel like clubs are the way to go. But I in my first week of college, I had the opportunity to really reach out to whoever was there. I wasn't really afraid to talk to anybody. I'm also an introvert and an extrovert, so I guess like that was like the most extrovert I've ever been in my life. But yeah, like make sure to reach out to your classmates, whoever's in your class. Like it's really helpful. And I know the situation right now is a little bit different since we're all doing remote learning, but just keep in mind that there are ways to connect with your peers online, and there's space available online that UCSC also provides, so students can connect and just, yeah, like build connections.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. For me personally, one of the best things that I've found at UCSC is how different everything is from where I currently live. I live in Mumbai, which is like the New York of India, and there's so much happening here. But at UCSC, it's just a whole different world, and it's so silent. I didn't know things could be so silent, and it's just so peaceful there. I mean, I love that town. Even if not the campus, I love the town. Um, I mean, of course, I love the campus, but the whole town in itself is just amazing. You have a beach on one side, and on the other side, you have like freaking forests. And I mean, it's just a very different kind of place to be and study. And yeah, it's just been a very, very amazing place to be at. And there's another question here, which is, has it been difficult finding job opportunities by yourself, especially before the pandemic? Um, I'll give my bit of that of as a response to that question. It's not been difficult at all. I mean, there may be less opportunities, or maybe it depends on your major or on which year you're in, but there are a lot of people there to help you with it. The Career Center is one of the very, very instrumental resources that I've found at UCSC. And they help you with everything. They have resume building, they have sessions that you can set with them for talking about whatever you want. I had questions about an international internship because I was coming back to India in one of the summers, and they helped me get an internship even here through their resources that they have on their career website. So it's been, I mean, yeah, there may be challenges, of course. There's no denying that there are challenges finding a job. It's pretty competitive, but there are people there to ensure that you put your best foot forward. So
Mhm.
yeah,
I think also just make sure to read your emails. And I know some people just, you know, just fly through their emails, just check like whatever's there. But I got most of my internship opportunities through the emails that my major advisor sent us. Every once in a while, if there's a career opportunity or there's an internship opportunity about your major advisors will send you email about that, and just be sure to stay active and really get that opportunity when you can. Don't be afraid. Don't hesitate. I believe this is what I tell myself all the time, because before, like, I would hesitate if I would be fit enough for that position and just totally miss out on the opportunity itself. So like just tell yourself that you're good enough, and you never know until like you shoot the shot. So take that opportunity, just stay just be aware that there are opportunities that will be presented in front of you.
right. I'm gonna touch up on a few questions here we've gotten. Uh, I'm going to slaughter that name. I'm just going to ask a question. Um, The question was, may I ask, was the last day to withdraw from UCSC? Um, I'm sorry, but I don't know the answer to that. But I'm pretty sure you could find it on registrar.ucsc.edu. Yeah, they have pretty detailed um, analysis of everything that's going
Yeah,
on.
they have an academic calendar provided on the UCSC website from year 2020 to 2021 right now. So you can check all the necessary dates and important dates on that calendar. It's really well written, well organized, simple to look at. So just type in UCSC 2021 calendar on Google and you'll just see it right up.
Right. Yeah. Perfect. And another question we have is, how does UCSC film department feel as far as film production versus film theory? Which is a good question, I believe.
How does wait, what was the question again?
How has your experience, or how's the department feel with film production versus film theory? Um, if you want to go first, or even I can go first if that's better.
Okay, I'm currently taking a production class called Film 170B. Um, and in terms of the situation right now, I know they've been really helpful, like as helpful as they can be, because usually when you take production courses on campus, you can rent out the different equipments and gears on campus from the lab. But since pandemic, that wasn't the option. So the professor and the department have been really helpful in terms of just sending like a kit for the including camera, microphone, and a lavalier mic in like a little kit, and then they would mail it out to students. But they didn't have that option for students studying internationally. Um, but yeah, as long as you're in the country, they were really helpful with providing the necessary materials for the classes.
Yeah, and a similar experience for me. I took a few production classes over the summer. I took two production classes over the summer. One of them was a digital media class, digital media production, which was very new to me. Um, because it's not like actual production. You're making stuff digitally. You're coding. You're literally. It was a coding class in a film major, which was very weird, but it was so helpful, and it was just a very unique experience. And again, we have a digital media component of UCSC, and you can concentrate yourself in that part. So anyone who's interested in like gaming or coding can make use of that resource that they already have. But we have another question here. Hi, can you tell us about Masters of Science Human Computer Interaction in the Silicon Valley campus? So I don't know much about that specific degree or the specific major, but I do know a little bit about the Silicon Valley campus. I mean, we have an extension of their campus in Silicon Valley, and it's the UCSC is the closest to Silicon Valley, and I mean, even online, or even if, especially in this climate, but even when I was at UCSC in person, there were classes that I could take online. I mean, majority amount of the classes are online, and if not all, I mean, I'm not too sure of my information here, but they allow you to take courses from the cross campus culture, and you can take courses from there as well as your normal coursework at UCSC, and I think those credits can add to your college degree. But yeah, don't hold me to this information. Yeah. Um, yeah, you can learn more about the UCSC Silicon Valley extension at www.ucscextension.edu. They have all sorts of information, all kinds of information about every course on that. We have a new question here. Can you major on video editing instead of doing all the film/theater classes? Um, do you want to take that?
I would say you have to choose production concentration still, but you can choose within the concentration what classes you're going to take. I'm not sure if there's like a specific class offered just for editing. Um, but you can choose the classes that you want to take. You can just read like what's available. And like for me, I am a production concentration, but if I don't want to do screenwriting, I don't have to take screenwriting course. It's really up to you what you want to do. Just make sure to reach out to your advisors if you're not too sure. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think you can like specialize in such a minor unique part of filmmaking. um yeah, so you'll have to do the broader film production concentration, and within that you can obviously focus more on editing, and like hone your skills on that, and reach out to your professors. They are always very happy to help with editing platforms, or even TAs. The TAs end up, they actually have a lot of experience with, because they're all either documentary filmmakers or independent filmmakers, and they have certain amount of experience in that field. So yeah, the TAs will be a very important tool for your skills. Um, right. So how much experience with film did you guys have before entering the program? I personally had made around two very short films, and I was always kind of interested in it. But don't let that make you feel that you need any kind of experience. I have friends who have nil experience, and they have started from scratch at the film major, and they're doing exceptionally well. I mean, all the classes start from the very basics. There's no amount of um, extra knowledge that will help you out. It's the same amount of knowledge for whether you're a whether you're a beginner or an expert. So yeah, just don't let it make you feel that you need any kind of experience at all. It's a very good program in terms of starting off from scratch.
Yeah, I totally agree. As long as you bring your passion and interests, you should be fine.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, right. So moving on to one of the last few bits of this discussion. Um, how has your transition from a country like South Korea, or for me, a country like India, or any international country, how has that transition been coming from a different world, a different culture, to USA, to California, to something that is so different?
Right. So I actually graduated from Indonesia, and it was completely different. I don't know if y'all been in Indonesia, but it's a very, very different environment. But I really loved living in both Indonesia and in the States. My transition to moving to the States, I guess it was helpful that my mom helped me move in for the first time. So if you have anyone that you like can go with, like family member or even friends, like I feel like that would help a lot. And I was fortunate enough to go through the international student orientation process where you kind of come to campus a week prior to actual orientation, and it's just for international students. I had a blast. Honestly, I made like few of my good friends from there that I still like hang out with. um, it's a really good program for helping international students transition smoothly into campus. They take you, like for example, they take you, there's a Target day, one of the orientation days. They would shuttle you to Target so you could get the stuff that you need and like bus you back on campus. And they offer really good programs where you can interact with different international students. And yeah, I know that the program still is offered online for international students. So just I would say make sure to really be involved. Um, I was actually selected as one of the global leaders this year, but unfortunately, due to COVID and under circumstances, I was let go. But I still like really recommend joining. Really like be interested in that program. That's how I think um, like my transition was so smooth because I was so involved in that program. Yeah, like do all the activities. Like sometimes you're like, oh, do I have to do this? Like, is it necessary? But I would say just do it because you know what? At the end of the day, you're gonna get like at least like two more friends and a lot more experience out of like doing the activities offered.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I remember I wanted to stay home as much as possible, obviously. So I was like, I'm not going to do this. But I don't know, something in me was like, okay, let's go for it. But I would have completely regretted it if I didn't do it. Um, Two people that I live with right now, two of my housemates, I found there, and the good thing is that they have all international students based on college preferences. So you are always like you're hanging out for a week with people you live or are your neighbors or like your floor mates. So you end up forming those bonds, and it helps a lot with starting off college when you're coming from a very different world to something which is another completely a different place. But yeah, it does get a little tougher times even after the program. And I remember I had one week when I was like really, really low. I came back from India after my winter break and I just canceled one whole week. Plus, it rains in in February and January, so it's kind of depressing. But
Mhm.
I canceled one whole week. Like, I didn't go for classes. I didn't leave my dorm room at all because I was just so upset. I was really really homesick. But you have all kinds of services there. You have counseling, you have CAPS, you have ISSS. I take this moment to shout out two of the very helpful organizations. Um, any kind of international doubts, any kind of international questions about being an international student, about your rights, or any kind of questions that you have about being an international student in the USA, ISSS has got you. They have all kinds of answers, and they're open on all weekdays. Um, and yeah, it's there. And if you're feeling low, or even if it's not about just being homesick, even if you're just feeling low in general, if you're having a tough time, you can always visit CAPS, which is a counseling service. So yeah, um, yeah. If you have any
Yeah, I would
sort
say winter in Santa Cruz does get a little bit depressing because it's really like gloomy and cold and rainy. But I know everyone has different ways of dealing with that kind of situation. But for me, I had to push myself to get out more. Like you don't feel like going outside because it's too cold or whatever. You don't feel like hanging out with your friends. But like for me, I had my friends drag me out of my room. Like they really helped in doing that. They were like, Gio, let's hang out. And I'd be like, no, I want to like stay in. But then they would be like, come on, like I cooked you food. And I'd be like, okay, fine. So sometimes like this is what I emphasize again, like when you're feeling homesick, of course, not only international students, I believe like everyone will feel homesick at one point in their college life, but having some kind of support system, whether it's your friends, your hobbies, or like just campus counselors, just know that there are ways to overcome that difficulty. And you will look back in time, and honestly, like I was really homesick my first year at college, but like when I look back onto it, it was just like a part of my like experience, and I don't hate it too much. Yeah.
right. Yeah, I completely agree. Having a community is very, very, very important. Um, Right. So we have another question here, which is how many films do you expect to make or participate in before graduation? And in response, um, there's no certain amount of films that you're expected to make or you're expected to participate in, but I would suggest do as much as you can. Just get involved in how many ever films you can because no amount of knowledge will ever go waste. So I know for a fact that you're gonna have to make at least one film if you're in the production concentration, because your exit class will be a film production class where you have to make a film, which will be like which will be judged by a professor and graded. So yeah, you definitely have to make at least one film. Um, but yeah, there's no specific amount that you're required to make
Mhm.
or participate in. Yeah, right. But I wanted to talk about, before we call it a day or a night for you guys. I wanted to talk about any kind of scholarships that you've had, Gio, and what your experience with that has been.
So I know that there are different scholarships offered to international students, and I had the opportunity to get one of the scholarships last quarter. And it's called the Sarah Matthews Scholarship, offered to international students. And I got this information through an email, I think perhaps by my major advisor or someone from the International Scholars Office. Um, but I got that opportunity and I read it through if I like the requirements. And they really emphasize my involvement with the Santa Cruz County and on campus. So I fortunately had a lot of involvement at the time with the Santa Cruz County and the campus itself. So I just wrote about my experience, what I was doing, how I am involved, what I'm passionate about, and I was able to get that scholarship, and it has been really, really helpful. And just international students like they the tuition's kind of high, so it was really great that I could help my parents kind of pay for that. And there are different scholarships offered to international students. Not only Sarah Matthews scholarship, but also other scholarships can be found in the UCSC website, or you could simply just reach out to your advisors if you have any questions about that. You could ask if there's any scholarship opportunity, and there are a lot more than you think. So just make sure to be active and like looking for those things and really take that opportunity.
Yeah,
And
yeah, I agree. There are so many opportunities to either get a grant or get scholarships, and your major advisors, your college advisors would be the best people to talk about that and get involved. But yeah, and to Daniel freaking Ramos, you can follow us on Instagram. Before the live ends, I'll put in. I mean, I'm not too sure about Gio's Instagram
oh
handle
no, sure. You can feel free to reach out to me personally if you have any other questions.
for
Yeah.
sure.
We'll make sure to add our Instagrams at the end of this conversation. And the last question was, how am I involved? I mainly wrote about my involvement with campus in terms of my job experience. I have a job at the as a gallery setter at Cal College. We have a nice little gallery. You should visit if you can. I don't think it's open right now, but I was a gallery setter over there. I wrote about that. I also had a lot of different involvement in terms of just doing dance. I am the Cal historian. I take photographs of different events that happened on Cal College. Um, and at the time I was also working with Santa Cruz City Council member Drew Glover. And then I think I wrote about that as well. So just I think saying act I didn't like know that this was an opportunity and this was like the scholarship. But just thinking about my experiences, I thought I was a strong candidate for this opportunity. So I think what I recommend is don't do these things just to get the scholarship. I would say get involved and do as much as you want, because you want to do it. Because if you force yourself to do something that you don't want just for like scholarship, at the end of the day, you're really gonna like not enjoy it. So if you have the chance, like get involved as much as you can. And if you have these opportunities of scholarship or whatever, make sure to also take that opportunity and don't be afraid to just, apply. Like, you never know if you're going to get it or not, but I would say better just try than not try at all.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, I completely agree that reaching out and trying, just applying for any kind of scholarships is very important. I did the same thing in my second year, and I got one. And for a whole year, I was working at the theater arts department as an alumni coordinator, and basically building an alumni database and alumni um, network for the department. And it was and I completely agree that it has to be something that you're not just doing for the scholarship, but for the learning opportunity, and the takeaways that you're going to take from that. It's been a very, very helpful, very informational, very educational experience. And yeah, I would recommend that you just reach out and just apply without any. I mean, at the most, the maximum that could happen is you get rejected, which is completely fine. So yeah, just go on and apply. Um, and before we end, one of the last questions we have is, how did you get to work with Drew, and how did you reach out?
I had the opportunity to work with Drew through Tamara, my major advisor. This is once again what I emphasize a lot, to make sure you read your emails um, as soon as possible, because the more you take, the less opportunity there will be. So I got my internship opportunity because Tamara, my major advisor, sent out an email about available positions with Drew at the time. So yeah, that was how I got it, and it was really great. I really loved working for Drew. He's a great guy, and yeah, there are a lot of opportunities that you can get through your advisors, your professors, or career center. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And we have a comment here again. Talk about the trees, the big trees. And that is actually the perfect segue to ending this. The trees are really, really long and really, really old. But unfortunately, they've been burning for a while. And we, Geo, and me, and everyone here at UCSC is here for you. And we want you to know that things are a little tough right now, but it's going to get better, and we all are going to come out stronger as a more resilient community. Um, to anyone who's looking to apply, who's a prospective student, we hope we've answered all of your questions. Um, and we hope that you guys have a good enough idea or a better idea about how life at UCSC is right now. And if you have any other questions about anything, whether it's about international students or anything at all, feel free to reach out to UCSC's Instagram handle, or email UCSC, any department, any question whatsoever. And the last thing of all that I'll leave you with is, November 3rd is approaching soon. Make sure you go vote. Your voice needs to be heard. Get out there, early voting, on the day voting, whatever it is. Make sure you guys vote. And yeah, take care. Have a good night for you all. I'm gonna have an amazing morning. And you too, Gio. And if there's no other last thoughts, Gio, we can wrap this up.
I just want to say good luck to everyone that's applying. I know situations will be a little different. Your college experience might be a little different due to pandemic than what you expected, but don't give up because of that. I say we will see better days, and just stay hopeful. And for everyone, I just want to say that this Instagram live will be saved to the UCSC account, the Instagram account, so you can always like revisit, replay some of the parts that you wanted, to make sure um we just for the last person who asked about the film club, Saksham, could you perhaps type in the Instagram handle for your film club?
Funny thing, actually, Anthony, he used to be with us at UCSC, but now he's at USC, and he's one of the co-founders with me in founding.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
for Anthony.
Yeah,
But yeah,
and please vote. Us international students, we don't have the privilege to vote, so we ask you guys to help us do the right thing.
I do that thing, of course, which is also a film by Spike Lee. But I think that's it. Thank you guys so much for being here today. It means a lot to us. We hope we were able to help you in any which way whatsoever. And just, yeah, go on, have a great day or a night. And we'll see you soon with another live. We meaning UCSC. Thank you. And
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.